today we're going to be stitching up some little frogs in hoops. So stick around if you want to make your own froggy friend. Hello and welcome back to a kooky corner of YouTube. We're full of frogs today, frogs everywhere. And there's nothing nicer than a frog in a hoop. That's what I say. That's my saying. Now I do like things in hoops. These are some previous hooped things that I have made. I like a hoop, I have to say. Love making things in hoops. There are a few of these projects on the channel, so if you want to go back through hooped histories, I don't think that's a playlist, but I could probably make one. But today we're doing frogs because I really like these. I've been making frog brooches in this very style for many years, sold quite a few of these, and I just thought, looking at them on the hoop, they look quite cute, don't they? And I like the fact they're dimensional. So let's go through everything that you're going to need to make your own froggy friend. So let's have a look at what we're going to need to make our little froggy. And it seems quite a lot, but it doesn't have to be. It's all about choices. If you just wanted to make the frog as a brooch, that is absolutely fine. And all you will need for that is some felt in two different contrasting colours for your frog, and matching threads, and a brooch back, and then you can wear him as a brooch. You may need to put some sequins on his tummy if you are a magpie like me, but apart from that, that's all you need. Now if you want to make this into a hoop that you can hang up and give away as a present, there are a few ways you can do it. You could do it as a slow stitch piece, which is my choice. I really like doing that as a slow stitch piece background. You could find a piece of fabric that's just a singular piece on its own, mount it up and then just stitch into it if you like, or just leave it plain. There are so many ways you can do this. It really is very uncomplicated, to as complicated as you want it to be, basically. So felt for both options. As I say, if you're just doing the brooch, then that's probably all you're going to need. If you want to do the hoop, then you're going to need a hoop. The hoop size you're looking for is, it's a 4-inch one, I do believe. I'll double check that, but I will grab my ruler out and check that. It's 4 inches or 10 centimetres, however you want to do that. Now, I get mine plain, so they come this wood colour. But if you want the outside to be a contrasting colour, then it's easily rectified, and I will tell you how. You paint up your hoop, like I've done with this one here. This is done in a magenta colour. I've used the Americana paints because they are nice and matte, so I like that about them. And once it's dry, this one hasn't quite dried yet. Sometimes I get a little bit on the edges there. I just scrape it off with my fingernail. Once it's dry, I will then go over this with furniture wax or beeswax, just to coat it and give it a nice little sheen. You can also varnish it if you want to. That is completely up to you. If you want a shiny one, go for a shiny one. These ones have been beeswaxed on the edges just to protect the paint underneath. But that's again a choice that you can make for yourself. The hoops I like to paint up in a contrasting colour to whatever is going on inside it. So the hoop, that's one you'd probably want to start off deciding which colours you want to do first, and then you could find a colour to match and paint up your hoop ready. Don't paint the inner part, only the outer part, and you want to go slightly inside on the edge. Let me show you this one again. So I've kind of gone all around with a very faint layer of paint on the inside, just in case it shows up a little bit. So basically that paint that I showed you, this one here, it takes about 1 or 2 coats, and that's all of the Americana, but any other paint you choose to use is absolutely fine. Any acrylic paint will do, to be honest. That's just my choice. Okay, so once you've got your hoop sorted out, then the next thing you need to do is to create a background. You can see I've got quite a few going on here, so you'll be seeing a few of them throughout the process. I'm doing about 4 of them because I'm making some gifts. So I've done different colourways and different frog colourways as well. As you can see with this little girl here. She's got like a magenta and a pink colour, and that matches really nicely with that frame, and it kind of picks out some of the colours in the background. Now, talking about the background, you want something that's big enough to go in your hoop and to have an overhang like this when you're picking your fabrics. So you can do it as one whole piece, or you can do it as all different pieces as I've done here. So this is my piece. You can see on the back I've drawn my circle to make sure that I've got enough to cover the circle and to overhang. This that I'm working on here is just like a stabilizer, so you can work on something like that. The one that I did originally, wherever he is, there he is. So the one that I've done originally has just been done on a calico background, so you can use whatever you have, whatever you've got. I'll give you another little tip as well that I had. I don't know if you've got any of these left over from the old days. I bought these a job lot. These are disposable nappy liners. They're great for a base. You're going to be covering it with fabric anyway. So I've got a whole host of those, and let me see if I've got one that was made with this one. This one's a disposable nappy liner. That's all hooped up, ready to be stitched into. But yeah, you're covering it with fabric, so that's just like a base to keep it all together onto. But the stabilizer is really good. Also, another plus with the stabilizer is that it's quite stiff, so that you get that stiffness to it, so you can stitch into it quite easily. So we've covered hoops, we've covered material that you want to go in, we've covered the felt that you're going to require. I will mention about the felt that I use 100% wool felt because I like to stitch with it. A blend would work equally as well. I'd be a bit wary about craft felt, just make sure it's not too stretchy, because sometimes it gets a little bit fuzzy. And it doesn't, if you can see this guy here, look, it's so nice to touch as well. The pure wool felt is my absolute choice for things that are going to be hung up on the wall, or, you know, I use the craft felt for backing the hoops, which we'll come to later. Right, so the next thing to do after sorting out your hoop, making sure you've got all your equipment, you need some threads, you'll need some glue. You might not need that, you could do pins if you wanted to, it completely is up to you. And I've got a friction pen and one of these, just an ordinary liner pen, because I drew my line there with a liner pen so that I could cover it up on the other side. I can see through this, you see, once I've drawn it on there, and then it gives me the actual size that I'm wanting to make and leave more for. Laying down your fabrics, lay them down however makes you happy. So you just place them. You can have odd bits like this. I quite like the odd bits rather than the squarey bits, but you do you. So you could do it something like that. So you've got like little hills or whatever it is you want to be putting on there. Then I will tack it down with just one thread over the whole piece, so that that's all ready to roll. And then what you do is you hoop it up. You put it into your hoop. That's all been tacked with one thread as well. As you can see, that's all tacked and ready to roll. So we're going to probably be working on this one because my other hoop for the other one is drying, and this will get put into that hoop. So I will center it and press my top bit over it and pull it taut so that I can then stitch into it. We get to that point, it's all hooped up, you've got your backing, whatever, it's all there, you've got enough overhang to pull it in at the end. And then what I do is to think of some stitches that I would like to put in there and put some stitches into it and have a fun time stitching things up. So I'll just move those paints out of the way. The glue I said is for when you're laying down your fabrics, just put a little bit of that on there just to hold it in place while you do that stitching, because that will help enormously. It doesn't have to be this coloured one. This is just one that I've got on my shelf that I need to use up. A Pritt stick or a bohin fabric temporary stick, anything like that will work perfectly. Or pins, as I said. So I've got my hoop, and now I'm going to get some fabric. I've got some needles, so I've got a thinner needle and a thicker needle for my pearl cottons, because I like to use those, and I will just add in a few stitches. So let me show you a couple that I've done already. Obviously on the original I've got minimal stitching. This is what I call a minimally stitched. I've not even done the background stitching to hold it all together. I've literally just hooped this one up and stitched into it. I think I put one layer of stitching in before it went into the hoop, so it was this background layer here, and then I literally just hooped the whole thing up. So that is an option as well if you want to. So I've got a circle of stitching that goes around there just to emphasize the round. And I've got some little plants growing up here, which are just basically a long stitch and some detached lazy daisy stitches on there. That's my suggested way of doing it. You obviously can do whatever you like. I have another one here that's ready to have its little frog attached to. It's a similar one to this one, but you can see that I've gone more to town with adding some stitches into this. So I've got my little plant bits as well. I've got my little glittery moon. You can make that a button if you wanted to. You could make it a piece of shiny fabric, however you wanted it, or leave it out altogether. You could have it as a moon or a sun, absolutely down to you. So the stitching in that is just basic running stitch. I've not really gone to town with the stitches. Those are the most difficult ones, which are not really that difficult. I did stitch a little spiral into there. I've done some over sewing, and again I've gone round in a contrasting thread colour, just in a running stitch all around it. So that's another way that you could do it. The simplest way, as I say, is just to put a piece of fabric in there. So one of these nice pieces of fabric in there, and then you can stitch into it or leave it plain. Absolutely up to you. So I've got this one hooped up, as I say, ready to roll, and I'm going to select a thread. I've got some threads here that I kind of like, that I've been using. So I'm going to go with this pink that I've already used. Pull myself off 2 strands of this. Just make sure I've got 2. It's better to take them one at a time, but I did do 2 there just because I'm feeling renegade. I've got this needle here ready to thread up. Threading things on camera is never my best option. I think I'll thread it up and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my needle threaded. Hooray! And I'm just going to pick somewhere to start, and I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to add in some stitches going the opposite way to my tacking stitches. Those tacking stitches you can leave in or take them out. I quite like to leave them in. I think they add texture into a piece, and I'm quite happy to leave them. The threads are matching colour to everything else that's going on in this particular hoop, so it's not a detriment to the piece. And then I'm just going to go back up the other way with my running stitches. And I'm just going to spend some time, it's really nice relaxing time, mindlessly or mindfully should I say, just stitching and being in the moment and enjoying the feeling of the stitch and the sound. I love the sound of a stitch as it goes into a hooped up piece. I don't know what it is. There's something really satisfying to me on a different level. It's, oh yeah, that's really nice. So I'm going to spend a happy hour or two stitching this up and spending some time enjoying the stitches. I will over sew all the bits that are overhanging like that so that they're all down and ready to roll with. So I'm going to do that, but now you'll probably just have me back with a different hoop to show you what we do next. So you've finished doing all your stitching on your piece, you're happy with it, you've got all the little bits and things that you need on there. I put my little planty bits in there because I think it kind of sets off your frog. If you look at this one, he's got all little greenery around him. On this one, I decided to go with some darker, because I had some darker colours in here. I wanted to get some more darker blue in there, and I thought that looked quite nice on there. And the frog that will sit on this one is this little frog here. So the next thing we need to do is to make our frog. So let's pop those over to one side. I've got frogs coming out of my ears everywhere. This is the one that's going to go on the one I'm still stitching here, like that. So I've got 4 of these all together on the go. So the next frog is going to sit on this piece here. So I'm just going to show you the making of the frog, but just show you the colours I picked out. I like these colours in the flowers there. I picked out some pink for the eyes. But I will go through the frog now, because that's the next part we need to do. I've cut out all my pieces. So I've got a front frog piece. I've got 2 head pieces, a back frog piece. I've got cheeks. I did have cheeks. I've got 1 cheek. I've lost a cheek somewhere. They fit on your frog there and there. So I'll get my other bit and we'll stitch those on first, because I like to do the stitching on of the facial features before anything else gets put together. You'll need a small amount of stuffing. Now, I say that as a caveat. You don't have to stuff it. You don't have to make it as dimensional as this. It could be a flat piece. Absolutely acceptable as well. But I like to make mine stand out and be a bit more dimensional. So if that's your choice as well, you're going to need a little bit of polyester stuffing just to put into the head and the body. So go and gather your threads, go and gather your felt pieces, and we'll stitch together a little frog. Okay, so I've threaded up my needle, and what I want to do is to sew on the little cheeks. I don't always sew them on straight away. Sometimes I put a little tiny dot of felt and foam tacky glue just to hold them in place, but they're such quick and easy things. All you have to do is just hold them down with your thumb, because it's not going to shift around too much because it's felt against felt. So you've got that going for you. Will be absolutely fine. So that's 1 cheek. That goes to that side. Now fasten it off at the back. Just the little knot, like so. Oops. Don't like too much of an overhang. Okay. Knot in the end of my thread again. That. And place the second cheek, which I want about there, I think, thereabouts. And then just stitch that one on too. These are things I do before I put them together because it just makes life easier. It can be done retrospectively, so if you stitched it all up and then you realise you've not put the facial features on, it's all good. It can be done afterwards as well. It's just if you do it before you put them all together, then, well, it's done. It's all done. You don't have to worry about it. Last little stitch down there. Turn it round. Put a knot in. And then trim it off. And now I want to do his little mouth and nose. So if you can look at this one, I've used black thread for that. You don't have to. You could pick something completely different, but I think I'm going to go with the black, so I'll just grab that out. Right, I have a method with the mouse that involves 2 different types of thread. So I've threaded up 2 needles. This is the thinner thread, and this is the pearl cotton thread. What I do first off is to stitch his little nose, gills, whatever they are, the way he breathes. Stick with that. And I just stitch those 2 little stitches in first, like so. Put them at a slight angle. It looks a little bit jaunty that way. Then what I do is I find the bottom of one of the cheeks, like so, and pull it through, not too tightly because I've not taken it away from that. You could fasten those off and do it again. I am saving time. And then I find the bottom of the other cheek and I pull it until I've got like a little smile, like that. Can you see? And when that's there, I will fasten it off now. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I leave it because I don't want to pull it too tight. I'm just going to fasten that off, like so, with a little knot, making sure that it's still okay. Yeah, that's fine. Snip that bit. And then with the second needle, which is loaded up with some thinner black thread, I'm going to couch down his mouth. Now, couching down means that you come up one side of the bit that you want to stitch down and then just go back down the other side. And that will hold it in the place that you want it to be in. It's a very handy thing to do, the couching, because it is good for thicker threads that you can't thread through but you want to put on your piece. You could just lay them down in the shape you want them and then just couch them down. So that's what I'm doing with his mouth. I could have done a back stitch. I could have done a split stitch to do his mouth either. I just think this looks neater, especially if you're really neat with the placement of your black stitches. It kind of just makes it a really, really neat smile. And all frogs should have neat smiles. You do your frog's mouth however you want to. There it is. That's his mouth all finished. And then what I'll do is, again, fasten this off on the back like so. And then that's all the facial features apart from the eyes, which I'll show you in a while because we do those again separately. And that will all go together. Hopefully I've got 2 sides that are the right sides together. Yeah, that's good. Now we go back to the other collar thread. So get myself a length of thread. I think I'm going to use a thinner needle this time. The one that's the more difficult to thread. Let's see if I can actually do it. I'll do it off camera. Okay, threaded first time. If I try and do that on camera, it never works. Okay, so you're going to put your back head together with your front head. You're going to decide where you're going to stuff it. I'm going to do my stuffing at that top edge there. Well, I could do it at the bottom actually. So I'm going to go to the inside of there. That just hides that knot I've just put in there and make sure it goes underneath and inside, like so. And all I do then is a simple over sew stitch to put these 2 pieces together. You could do it as a back stitch if you wanted to. My preference is over sew, but if you prefer to back stitch it, you do however you like the best. All these pattern pieces, as I say, they are in the Facebook group. So you need to go to the Cool Cookie Creatures Facebook group, look in the files section, and there will be the pattern piece for this little frog and suggestions for how to put the hoop together, whatever. They are there. But the main instruction obviously is on this video. So you could sit and watch it through and make a few notes if you wanted to. That's sometimes what I do when I'm looking at tutorials. I sit with a little notebook and note down things that I need to remember. It saves me watching them over and over again. Well, sometimes I still do that anyway. If I enjoy how it's put together, then I quite like to sit and look at specific details again, just to make sure I'm doing it correctly. There's really no right or wrong way with this. As long as you follow the steps, then there really isn't any major things that you need to worry about, and no specifically crazy stitches that you need to know. So remember to leave yourself a little gap. Oops, get rid of that there. And we're going to put some stuffing in there, only a small amount. So I'm just going to grab that now, and then we'll put some stuffing in and finish his head up. Okay, I've got a little wodge of stuff in here. You don't need much, really, not much at all. You're just going to give it a little bit of dimension. Obviously, if you want to do it flat, that is also an option. So you pick and choose as to whatever effect you want your frog to have. Fill that one. Tiniest bit, so you don't really need much at all. Just to put in there and hold that together. And now we're going to close up that gap with our tiny little oversew stitches, like so. Stitch it all together, finish it off with a little knot, and then lose the thread inside just by putting the needle through. Actually, while I'm here, no, I think I'll do his black. I'll do the black bit in his eyes. You can do it with a coloured thread. See, on this one here, I've used a coloured thread to stitch the eyes on. But on most of the others, I think I've just used a black thread. So we'll do that. We'll get some black thread. Got some over here. Rethread my needle. It might be an idea to have more than one needle just ready threaded up, but yeah. That's too organised, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to take my black thread through to there. So it's kind of like, not midpoint, just off midpoint, and I'm going to pull that through. I've got no knot in it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little knot on the outside here, just to hold that thread. Can you see that? That's just holding that tight there. I'm going to get one of the eyes. Gone with some nice pink eyes for this one. These are really small buttons. You can get them, I think they're 6mm. You can get them in packs of like 1,000. These were in a little set I had many years ago that were to do with paper crafts. It was all different size buttons, and there wasn't like lots and lots of different colours to choose from. It was kind of like a themed colour set. So it was like blues and greys and pinks and white and black. But you can get 6mm buttons in whatever colour you like now. Because I'm just going through a few times to make sure it's nice and secure on the top of there. Once I've got that, I'm going to take it through the felt and bring it out a little further that way. Actually, I'll do it there. That's where the button's going to go. And then thread on a new button at this side. Making sure it's going the right way. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's all good. And then that bit goes through the felt there, like so. And you just do that a few times. If you haven't got any buttons, you could make these out of felt. You know, you could quite easily do little felt eyes to work for this, or some other option that you can think of that you could use. But I find the buttons work really well because you get that shape in the eye of the frog, you know, the like little bit that goes to the slit there. I've managed to get this all tangled up somehow. There we go. That's it. And then might just do another one through. Threading that needle again. Yeah, just do another one. Make it really secure through both edges like so. It's got two eyes. And now I will take it to the back, put a little knot in it, pull it tight, and then lose that thread in the felt that way. Give it a snip, and you wouldn't know it was there. That's the head all complete. Now the body. The body, what we need to do is to make sure we've got the sides that are correct. That's the right side. Ah, that's the right side. And you put the top on the bottom, like so. Now if you look at this one, you can see what we're going to do. We're going to stitch all the way around the outside, like so, and then stuff it, and then add the stitching on afterwards. So first of all, what we've just done with the head, I'm going to go all the way around the outside of the front part. So you can see I'm not going up there, I'm not going over there, it's all around that front edge to get all that front edge attached to the back part. Should match at the top, so you just stitch over the top as usual. So I'm going to do that, and I'll come back when it's time just to add a little bit of stuffing in. Okay, so I stitch around from there to there. I'm going to put a little bit of polyester stuffing in it. Just like that. There you go. Tiny bit more. We don't want them to be too stuffed. You don't want to overstuff it. You just want to give a little bit of dimension. That's perfect, lovely. And then got little bits of overhang like that. Just pull them out. You can always trim them later. You just have to be careful not to trim your stitches when you do that. Okay, and I'm just going to fasten this off. Just unfasten my thread. I'm going to rethread that, but yeah, just fasten off to the top there, fasten it all off, and I'll show you how we do the stitching on the body. Okay, so we've finished the top stitching, and now we're just going to add the detail in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from the bottom, I think. So I'm going to take it right from the centre at the bottom, and I'm just going to put a slight, I'm going to pull that through as much as I can, like so. Flatten it to hold it. No, it's not going to work that way. I'm going to have to knot it to start with. Actually, what I can do is take it from that edge. So I'm taking it from the edge right down to that centre point. I want to lose a thread in it. I don't want there to be any visible knots on him. So I'm going to take it to there, and then I'm going to put a little knot in it. And that will hold it. There we go. Right, so if we look, he's got his little feet go like in a diagonal shape. So just follow the pattern for the feet of the stitch placement, or do your own thing. You can do it however you want to do it. And then I'll take it up there like the arm, so we've got His feet are splayed out. And then we go up the arm, like so. And take it as far up as you want to go. It's up to you how far up you want that little arm to go. I'm going to go for there. See how that looks. That's fine. And then I'm going to take my thread from there and go right back down to the centre. It wasn't right in the centre, was it? I can get it there. And then do the same on this side. So shaping for that little part of his foot, going up there at an angle to there, I would say. And then a little bit more, probably, just to there. And then we straighten up for his leg. And that goes up there, like that. Now I've got quite a lot of thread on here, so I'm going to do the next bit whilst I've got that thread attached, just saves taking it out. So I'm going to go from the arm part up to the head part there, top of his head. I'm going to get my head, now this is a bit fiddly, but you get used to it. Turn it over so you've got some kind of a little bit of an overlap. And what you want to do is just over sew this head. So just check your placement, make sure it's in the place. You can tilt his head slightly if you like his head to be on a little tilt, and then stitch it in place. There's no easy way to do this, you just kind of have to hold it together. You could pin it if you want to, but I find the pins get in the way. But if you fancy that idea, trying to put it together that way, that is completely down to you. You could use clips as well. Again, I just find they get in the way. But it's all down to how you want it to go. Yeah, I like a little tilt on his head. Just a tiny tilt. And stitch this down. You won't see the back when it's down, and if you're making it into a brooch, again, it's not something that you're going to see. So not messily, but you don't have to be like super neat with it. It doesn't have to be super neat. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit wonky. Embrace the wonk, as we say around these parts. There we go. So now what we should have is a little froggy with his head attached. It's always the best way to be, isn't it? They always take you out slightly. It's always best to have them with the heads on. Now, me being me, I like a little bit of bling, so I'll put some sequins in his tummy. So I've got some sequins out here. I've got, I think it's about 6 you need. I think I've got 6 there. I did look for another, I've got another colour that's similar to this, but I thought, no, let's go with some bright green. Why not? Let's just do it. So, get my thread. I'm using the thicker needle for this one. I could use the thinner one, but hey, we're just going with it. First of all, placement of the centre. So I'm going to go from that side, take it to the centre, like so. This is if you're doing sequins. Wrap it round, just give yourself a little knot, and you've got a holding point there. Thread on a sequin. Come here, froggy. I'm going to go up there, down there, and I'm going to place the other ones around. So coming out at that angle there, grabbing myself out of the sequin, popping it on. Put on as many or as few as you like. I might not want sequins at all. but I do. So you can do it however you like. You could put beads on if you wanted to. It is completely open to interpretation. You add in whatever you want to add in. You could add some stitches in. You could do some slow stitching into it. Add in some little running stitches up his tummy, however you want it. I've got broken nails again. I need some gelatin or some kind of jelly. That helps keep my nails from breaking. They're in water a lot. I'm always washing brushes, washing this, washing that, paint all over my hands, stitching with them. So they do grow sometimes when I've not been doing too much. At the minute we're in a breaking phase. Get that sequin on there. Come on, Froggy, stay still. Trying to find the centre of that sequin. It's fiddly, but it's fun. Why is this one being so awkward? There's always one awkward one. There's always one awkward sequin. This is it. Look at it. It doesn't want to be thread at all. There we go. I got you. Last one. Hopefully this one's going to play nicely. Yes. Yes, you're a good boy. And sequin is on. Take it through to the back. Once it's through to the back, take it up to the neck area. Wrap it round. Pull it through. I'm going to have to thread that again. And then I lose my thread in the body, like so. Pull it through, trim it off. We have frog. We have 2 frogs. We have 3 frogs. We have 4 frogs. Right. Putting it on your hoop. So you could have your frog like this, put a brooch back on, it will be perfect on your outfit. Absolutely lovely. But if you want it to go onto your hoop, it's really quite simple. Let me grab this one that's ready for a frog. This one's going on there. So I need to grab some other thread and have you back. Okay, so I'm going to position my frog where I want her to be. She's going to be there. And then on the flat part of the leg, I'm going to come up from the back with my thread and just tack her on there. Try and get a thread that matches in with the bits that you're going to be stitching down, is what I will say. Because I don't want to stitch all of her down, I'm just going to stitch certain parts. So I'm going to put about 3-4 stitches in that little leg part. Then I'm going to go up to the head, try and get in a place where I've done an oversew stitch, and then just bring that back down into there. Go a little bit further up. You don't need to do every little part, you're just picking certain little spots just to pinpoint. So 3 stitches around the side of the face. Go to the other side of the eyes. A few holding stitches in here. Obviously, if you're doing this as a flat applique, then you would need to applique this on fully. But because this has already been pre-stitched, I don't need to worry about the frog holding together. I'm just trying to hold it in place. Take that back down to that leg there. Make sure I pulled all my thread through. Don't want to run out of thread part way through. That would be annoying. So I'm taking it just a few stitches on that leg there. And down to there. And then just one at the bottom. That's going to be my lot then. Take it to the back and fasten it off with a knot. And then that's going to be done. Yay! And all we need to do then is back your hoop. And for that, what I do is I take the inner hoop, I draw out a circle on some felt, and then I just overstitch it around at the back. So let me show you on this one. So I've got my circle of felt and I overstitch it all the way around just to finish it off. And I think they look fab. Now another thing you can add into yours if you want to, as I've done on this one, is some little bead clusters, just to add in some shiny interest. You can add in any kind of beads you like. You could do some French knots if you wanted to. However you want to finish yours off, that is completely down to you. But I think they are super. I think everyone should have a frog friend to hang up. So frog friends all round, that's what I say. And I've got 4 here that I'm going to probably gift to people. Hopefully they're not watching at the minute, but they won't know which one they're getting anyway, even if they are. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. I hope you have enjoyed stitching some frogs with me, and I'll be back here very soon with something else. Don't forget the pattern for this is going to be in the Facebook group, so you need to nip over there and grab yourself a copy in the files section. Bye for now.